Hello, trading has closed on the 23rd of September 2025. As always, we'll begin with our disclaimer. We'll go over our calls and then we'll make our predictions. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, which is the 24th of September 2025. Right now it's just a plan. I can always change my plan. My plan can be wrong, and trade at your own risk. Also, overnight futures haven't opened yet, and that could change things. Look for the pattern today with the early low, which is this. Tomorrow has the early high and the late low, although it can be a rally day. The general idea was that all the conditions for a top were present at around 6,700 cash. We came within 48 cents of that today, so that if you round it to the nearest point, we actually, so far at least, hit the number. You would think people would flock to my channel with a call like that, but actually 3 people unsubscribed when I called for that top, so you just can't please some people. Well, I should say that we had a target. We had the 66.90.75 target. Here's support, here's resistance, and that worked. We have a new target of 66.90.302. MEJT likes to leave a failed target at major changes in trend. So far, the call for the top here is working to the point, rounded. And ideally, even though it isn't one of the rules, ideally that should fail. But, I didn't make it one of the rules, and I can't come back now and make it a rule. But usually, if you're going to have a change in trend of significance, you're going to leave this behind to fool you. We got a sell signal in the afternoon. We got the minimum. You don't have to stop at the minimum, and that's already played out. Nothing more from that. We had this big drop and closed over all these lows. Now, time doesn't run out until tomorrow's open. Any move, even this move, this impressive move right at our target, needs confirmation. So, if we gap and take this high out, then it doesn't work. But if we gap down, undercut these lows, the only positive thing about this chart, which is that you couldn't get anywhere in the last few hours of trading, that's the only positive thing in this chart. And if we do gap under this, it's pretty hard for me to see how we can recover before having a sustainable drop. Now, what if we gap up instead? Well, here's a stilt. Here's a diamond. If we do gap up, there's resistance at the origin of the left stilt. So whether you want to call that here or here, that's kind of arbitrary. I would call it here. But if we do gap up, that's where to look for resistance. If we break through this, something fishy is going on. We still have resistance here, and we still haven't cleared this high up here, but I'd be happier if things went according to plan. Don't forget, this is a counter trend trade. I still think we're going much higher, and if things don't play out on the downside exactly as I want, I'm willing to miss a down trade as long as I get in for the rally. But I think we've started the down move right at the right price. We now have a new trend line to look at. You start from here, connect all these things up. Either you gap over that line, which is today's high, or the line wins, which means if we don't gap over this tomorrow, and I doubt we will, any move over that line just isn't going to stick. So I think I think this is like A of 2, and that's probably B of 2. Although if it's wave 3, it doesn't break any rules. I don't think so. You should get a wave C of 2 in blue, and then we should have a big wave 3 up. It should be a doozy. I think it's way too early to say how low this is going to go, but one of the common places would be in a fourth wave of lesser degree. So if that's true, somewhere between 6,212 and 6,500 cash should mark the end of this drop, and then I think we're off to the races on the upside. I don't think it's going to be a disaster here, but not the kind of thing I like to sit through. So here's the pattern. Wednesday's pattern has the early high and late low regardless of where we open. The late low doesn't have to be under the price of the early high. There's a higher target. Unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. MEJT likes to leave a failed target at significant changes in trend, so if our call for a 6,700 cash stop is a valid call, it would be ideal if the target failed. Now, today's drop needs confirmation by trading under today's close. That confirmation doesn't have to come immediately. We still need it at some point. Today's steep drop closed, it should say over. Today's steep drop closed over multiple prior lows. That gives some hope to the bulls, which capping and undercutting today's low a dash. So if, instead of going down, we gap up, it should see resistance at the origin of the left stilt of the inverted diamond on stilts pattern. So I have no idea how we're going to open tomorrow. This is a big drop. If we just gap down under here, I don't see how it's recoverable. And if we go up, you should have resistance around this area here, which doesn't mean it has to print. It just means if it prints, that's resistance. So it's the pattern with the early high and the late low, but it doesn't have to be a negative day. It could be a positive day coming back and testing this area without changing anything. It looks like this call is going to work so far. And as long as we hold that area, I'm going to stick with it with a target quite a bit lower, but not horribly lower, followed by a rally, and that's today's call.